What's up guys, Johnny May here and welcome to this week's quick tip where I'm going to teach you how to take a very basic melody and turn it into a gorgeous jazz ballad. We're going to be using an original melody inspired by The Way You Look Tonight, and in today's lesson I'm going to teach you the melody and how to use shells to create a beautiful accompaniment. Check out what it sounds like. Now this lesson comes from my course, How to Play Jazz Ballads in Cocktail Piano, and in this course we do a super deep dive. I teach you the full song, we talk about seventh chords, we talk about inversions, we talk about the root chord pattern that's so essential for jazz ballad playing. We talk about the money ranges for the bass notes, the money range for the chords, and how to use inversions, okay? Really in depth. We talk about how to harmonize the melody, and then we talk about how to solo. So if you want to do a super deep dive of this lesson, check out the full-length course at Piano with Johnny. Now for a limited time, you can get the first 5 lessons of this course for free when you sign up for the Jazz Ballad Challenge. You'll get these videos to your email inbox. So if you want to sign up for that, I'll put a link below, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so we've got our lessons set up here. We have the sheet music here on the top left. If you can read sheet music, this is a reference for you, and if you don't read sheet music, that is totally fine as well. I also want to make a note that this sheet music is downloadable and printable for our members here at pianowithjohnny.com. We also have the smart sheet music, so you can change the key with the click of one button. Okay guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the lead sheet, okay, and we're going to look at the melody and the chords, and this is the way I always recommend that you approach a jazz standard, or a jazz ballad in this case, is you look at the melody and you look at the chords, and then you start to develop it, you start to build layers, and that's exactly what we're going to do in today's lesson. And if you want to be a jazz pianist, this is how jazz pianists approach songs, okay? So this is a lead sheet. A lead sheet has a melody and it has chords on the top. Okay. Now we're going to be using an original tune, The Way You Look at Me. It's a little, tip of the hat to The Way You Look Tonight, which is a classic jazz standard. So it's a very similar melody, and it actually uses the same chord progression. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this first, guys. We're going to look at the melody. I want to teach you the melody. Make sure that's absolutely solid in your fingers, because once you learn the melody, we're going to start adding things to it, and you really don't want to have to go back and try to relearn the melody. You really want to memorize this melody. So let's go ahead and spend the first part of the lesson focusing on that. All right, sitting at your keyboard, make sure you're sitting nice and tall. Okay, you want a nice curvature to your hands here. You don't want to have flat fingers, so make sure you've got the nice curvature there. And we're going to start on this high G. Now this red dot here is a reference. This is just middle C reference point for you. So we're up an octave and a half up here on the G, pinky on the G. Okay, first part of the melody goes like this. Okay, go ahead and play this with me. We got the pinky on the G. Then we're going to go thumb on C, okay? Then we're going to do a walk down from the F, okay? We're using the finger 4 on the F, that's the ring finger, and we're just walking down all white notes. F, E, D, C, and then B, I like to cross over there with the 2 finger, okay? Once more, play this phrase with me. Here we go. G, down to C, and let's walk it down from F. Great work. Okay, that's going to be phrase number 1. We're going to work phrase by phrase with this tune. Okay, let's look at the next phrase. How does the next phrase go? Check it out. And we're going to stop there, okay? Phrase number 2, we're starting on the G. We're going to walk this down to C. Okay, that's all white notes. Very simple. Using the whole hand, all 5 fingers. Then we're going to stretch up here to the A. We're going to walk this down to the D. You see what I did there? Walking down to D, and then walk it back up. Does that make sense? All right, we're going to do this phrase number 2 one more time. Here we go. Walk it down from G. Great, and let's walk it down from A. nice work. Okay, here's phrase number 3. Okay, I want you to listen to the melody. Okay, that's all we're looking at right now, okay? Starting on the high G. Play this with me. Single note, pinky on the high G. Walk down to C. It's a 5th interval. Beautiful. And our final phrase. That's it, okay? Great work. Start on that G, pinky on the G. We're going to go G, C, D, F, and then E, D, and then C. Okay, once more, G, C, D, F, E, D, C. Okay. Now, if this lesson is going too fast for you, you can slow it down in our music player and our video player. Just keep that in mind. You can also pause the video and work phrase by phrase. But guys, this is the A section of the song, and you'll see I've notated it here with the A box. Now, there is a B section which we're going to do later on in this course, but the most of the course I just want to focus on the A section and talk about, what to do with these chords, because this lesson is largely about teaching you how to arrange. It's giving you tools to take other songs and do them in this style. So once you understand the tools, then hopefully you can apply it to other chords. All right, guys, let's go ahead and play the A section one more time, and I will teach you the B section briefly here before we start moving on to the arranging techniques. Okay, here we go. Play along. This is the A section. Play with me. We'll go medium slow tempo. 3 and 4 and G and down to C and walk down from F to B, walk down from G, 2, 3, walk down from A, 2, up from D, G, down to C, and from the G. That's your melody, okay? Beautiful melody. Now, if you're stuck there and you're confused, go back in the lesson, rewatch the way I taught it to you phrase by phrase. And this is the way I want you to learn. A lot of my students say, Johnny, how do I learn these big pieces? Bite-sized portions, phrase by phrase. And what you want to do is you want to speed that up and memorize it. My goal for you, my assignment to you, is to get it up to tempo. I think a good tempo is about here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. It's a really nice tempo, okay? That's going to be your goal. And then your second goal is to memorize it. You want to be able to play this without looking at the sheet music. Well, there was a little bit from lesson number 1. Let's go ahead and skip ahead to lesson number 4, where you're going to learn about shells. And the next step, guys, is to talk about the shell approach. The shell approach is one of the easiest approaches if you want to play jazz piano for a beginner intermediate pianist to play. Let me show you the sound of shells. What am I doing here? Okay. I'm only using 2 notes in each chord, okay? And it's a very, very simple way of playing chords in jazz. It's one of the simplest ways, and you get the most important notes from the chord with this approach. And it actually sounds really great when you play it with a band, okay? So what I'm doing, guys, here is I'm actually simplifying the chords. Before we were playing, big C major 7 chord, big A minor chord, okay? And what we're going to do with the shell approach is we're only going to use 2 notes from the chord. The way shells work is you either play the root and the 7th of the chord, like that, for the C major 7, or you play the root and the 3rd of the chord, like that, C and E, okay? And the way it works is anytime you move to another chord, you're going to use the opposite of what you currently use. So generally speaking, if you start on a C major 7, using the root and the 7, when you go to the A minor 7, you're going to use root and 3rd, like that, okay? This is the root of the chord, and that is the 3rd of the chord. Does that make sense? So root 7 like that, C and B, to the A and the C, root 3rd, okay? So that's the first 2 chords. The 3rd chord is D minor 7, that's going to be here, D and C, root 7, and then the G, we're going to use root 3rd, okay? Very, very simple. Okay? And they're the most important notes. You're going to get a lot of really important notes from the chord. E minor 7, we're going to use this guy up here, root 7 to A minor, and that'll be there. Okay? Notice also with these shells, you don't have to jump around to the chords. Every time you move to a new chord, it's very nearby. Okay? D minor 7 is going to be here, root 7, D, C, and then G7 will be there, root and the 3rd on the G and the B. Okay, is this making sense? It might be hard at first, like you might not be seeing right away that, oh, that is the root and the third of the chord, or oh, that's the root and the seventh. That's okay, you're gonna get it over time. It really takes time, you know, it really takes years before you really get comfortable and you really start to see these chords and make the connections. All right, for the next one, I like to start on the G minor 7. So we're gonna come from here, we're gonna go here, root and third on the G minor 7, and then the C7, we're gonna use root 7 like that, C and B flat, okay? Does that make sense? Like that. All right, next set of chords, we're actually gonna move these 7th chords down the piano just because when you go to these between the chords, it's not really easier to go between the root and 7 and the root and third. It's easier to just use the root 7 on all of these chords. So I'm just gonna walk this down, root 7 on the F, root 7 on the E, root 7 on the D, and then root third on the G. Okay, does that make sense? So we're gonna make a little exception there and walk 7ths down, okay? And then finally at the end of the phrase, we've got C major 7, we've got an A minor 7, that'll be there, root and third, D minor 7, root 7, and G7, root and third, okay? By the way, guys, I'm following the form here. The form is the order of chords. If you go back to the lead sheet, these are the same chords, okay? But we're just applying these chords to them. All right, guys, this concludes the preview lesson. Did you enjoy the lesson? If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this lesson, I just want to mention once again that you can get free access to the first 5 lessons of this course for a limited time when you sign up for the Jazz Ballad Challenge, and there's a link to that below. Now, if you want instant access to the entire course, you can pick up your free 14-day trial at pianowithjonny.com. This not only gives you access to this course, but it gives you access to our entire course catalog at Piano with Jonny. Currently over 400 lessons in the styles that you love. You can learn jazz and Latin jazz and swing music and jazz ballads and funk and gospel, and we teach theory and improvisation. Guys, it is a full learning platform. We have lessons for all playing levels, and we add new lessons every single month. We have a ton of sheet music arrangements, currently over 150 sheets, and we have the Piano with Jonny community, which is an awesome community. We do live events every month. We do a live Q&A every single month. You can ask me your practice questions. We do a live workshop lessons where the students can ask me questions during the lesson. We do weekly challenges for our members. We have ear training exercises. Guys, it is the full learning platform, so you can check out the membership at pianowithjonny.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.